Hello aspirants. So today we are going to talk about an international issues which is taking place right at our neighbor, and Nepal is burning. So what could be the implication on India? We will be looking from the international issues perspective, and also how it's going to impact whatever happening in Nepal, how it's going to impact India. So let's start. So the crisis, what is the reason for the crisis, current crisis? Yes, so Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has already resigned, and even after his resignation we could see the protest was going on. Government buildings and institutions were set on fire, right? Parliament, Supreme Court and government seat of government, that is called Singh Darbar in Nepal, has been set on fire. So what was the reason for this entire crisis? So the reason was being there has been the ban. There has been social media ban in Nepal. And obviously you see the protester. Who are the protesters? Gen Z. Who are Gen Z? The youthful population, right? The youthful populations who are tech savvy and digitally very well connected. Obviously they felt that this ban is against their freedom of expression, because social media has become a tool of or a platform for freedom of expression, right? So banning these social media, what was the government stand? Government stand was that they are banning these social media. They had banned 26 social media including Facebook, Twitter, that is X, TikTok, all these were banned. The government stand was that they are basically regulating. They are regulating social media because there has been lot of misinformation, issues of hate speech, right? So these kind of problems we are also seeing in India, isn't it? Even in India there has been a debate, there has been the institutions and the government has been calling upon to regulate the social media. So we will also see this entire episode from India lens, isn't it? So this is kind of a, you can say it is kind of a trailer or kind of a reminder that what steps the government of India should prohibit from taking, isn't it? And we have seen in our neighboring country, already this protest in Bangladesh. We have seen in Bangladesh how the protest has led to the fall of government. Bangladesh, we have already seen students' protest has led to the fall of the government. In Sri Lanka also we have seen, because of the protest there was a fall of the government, isn't it? So we could see the how in our neighbor the democratic system are cracking, right? So India has lot to learn from these kind of incidents, because right away it is taking place in our neighborhood. So what I was talking about here is that immediate reason was ban. What was the immediate reason? Immediate reason was ban on social media, and it was the protest has been taking place by whom? By the Gen Z, that is the youthful young population who are technically savvy and digitally well connected, and they thought it is a kind of a attack on the freedom of speech and expression, whereas the government stand was that they were trying to regulate because of the issues of extremist ideas being spread, hate speech being spread, misinformation being spread, right? But anyway, because of the protest, some 19 people, they lost their life. After that, the Prime Minister of the Nepal, Mr. KP Sharma Oli, has resigned. So this is about the, so far, the issues. Security fallout, we have already seen that the government institutions were being burned, curfew is being imposed, government institutions being attacked, many people, particularly the young people, they have lost their life, right? There is vandalism issues in Nepal. So lot of security fallout, right? Institutional collapse. So already we have seen Prime Minister, including the Home Minister, have resigned and the army has taken over. So what next? This from the Nepal perspective. Then will come from India and Nepal perspective. What would be the implication of this Nepal crisis on India? So what next in Nepal? Already, as of now, the army has taken over. But what next? Because in Bangladesh, so far, no conclusive solution has come up. Though the Prime Minister of Nepal has said that I am stepping down to bring political solution, right? Prime Minister of Nepal, he told that I am stepping down to bring what? Political solution. But what is the political solution? As of now, things are not very clear. Even in Bangladesh, we have seen there was, after the students' protest against the Sheikh Hasina government, the government came down, interim government was being formed, but still there is no democratic election has not taken place till now, isn't it? Still there is an interim government, and interim government is not the real government, right? Interim government is not the real government. That shows that they were not able to come up with any alternative solution. Sheikh Hasina government fallen down in Bangladesh, but then there is no alternative solution. So that is what people could be worried about even in the Nepal. The Gen Z, they protested against the government because of corruptions, nepotism, instability in the governance. Finally, the government is being brought down, right? Army has taken over. Then what next? They have not come up with any kind of solution that why they protested against the government. They protested against corruptions and all, right? Instability and all. But then what is the alternative? Whether there will be the interim government, whether there will also be an interim government like Bangladesh. So as of now, there is no clarity. Nepal is in state of instability. And even after, if we have to see little bit of historical context, after 2015, when the constitution, Nepal constitution came into being, it is almost 10 years now, there has been instability. No prime minister in Nepal could go for 5 years, tenure. There has always been instability. Right. So looking at the way the democratic institutions functioning in our neighborhood, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, we can definitely say that if we have to compare with our neighboring state, we can definitely say that in India, the democratic system is really functioning well, isn't it? Bearing the emergency issue which happened in 1975, we had a smooth, systematic functioning of democracy, comparatively, isn't it? So this is what from the Nepal's perspective, right? So here we have seen what was the reason for the immediate crisis and how the crisis is unfolding, we also discuss about what could be next. So as of now, there is no clarity that what would happen in future, what would be the political solution. Now let's look into from the India's perspective. So you see how Nepal is so much intertwined with India, isn't it? Look at the map. It shares border with Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Sikkim, and almost a bit of West Bengal. In fact, you have this Darjeeling, right, which has a huge number of Nepali population there, of Nepali origin. So you can, it is so much intertwined. So obviously from the India's perspective, it has a huge implications. So what are the implications on India? Political and diplomatic problem definitely is there. So the Prime Minister of India has already, conveyed his message that we want a stable, peaceful Nepal, and he has urged the people of Nepal to be peaceful and go or take whatever the solution through peaceful dialogue process and abjure violence. But they should not resort to violence. The Prime Minister has already said. Now there is an issue that we have to really balance very well when it comes to Nepal, because Nepal is already going into the China fold. So China factor is already there. China factor is already there. China, earlier India and Nepal, they had much better relations, and in fact India had more say. India had more say in Nepal earlier, but from the past 1 decade we are seeing China's influence, particularly when the Maoist government came to Nepal. We are seeing more Chinese influence in Nepal, which is definitely not good for India, right? Because India tries to create its own dominance to protect its national interest, in the neighbor. So we have already seen China has entered in the Bangladesh, Myanmar, influencing Sri Lanka, almost all the neighbor, including Nepal. So now this crisis is an opportunity for India, and it is also a challenge. So for India it is an opportunity as well as challenge. What are the opportunity? Opportunities that we have to build the trust. We should build the trust. Right? We should see that Nepal is coming towards us rather than moving away from us. So we have to really walk a very tight diplomatic rope, very sensitive. We have to handle this situation in a very sensitive manner, because already there has been an issues when there was a blockade from India, and that was the reason why Nepal moved more towards China. So this situations brings opportunity as well as challenges. Now this is about the political issues. What are the other issues? Digital and security issue, because India and Nepal, they share some 1750 kilometer of porous border, open border, right? So definitely there is a security issues, because already there has been news that around 13,500 prisoners, they escaped from the jail, and many they are nabbed by the Uttar Pradesh police. So fugitives taking advantage of these situations, even terrorist extremists who are lost in the jail or who are also looking for a safe passage. These period is a very turbulent period, and they can utilize this period for the safe passage, and that could be a very much security challenge for India because it is an open and porous border. So Sahastra Seema Bal, who is taking care of India-Nepal border? Sahastra Seema Bal. Sahastra Seema Bal, they are taking care of India-Nepal border. So now the government of India has already instructed, and the security apparatus is getting more and more firmer there, right? So security, there has to be security, intelligence sharing, intelligence, so security preparedness, proper security preparedness, intelligence sharing, these all has to be really good, right? And digitally also we have to see cyber security, cyber security, because all these things, the way in Nepal the crisis is there, it could seriously impact India, right? From the security aspect, already the political aspect we have talked about. What about the economic aspect? So India and Nepal, they have a very strong trade links. India is the largest trading partner for Nepal, almost $8 billion of trade between India and Nepal. India also provide a link because Nepal is a landlocked countries, right? So definitely Nepal is much more dependent on India for their economic, right? And so what could be the problem here? Issues of trade disruptions, trade disruptions, and obviously who will be facing more trouble? India, because India is the largest trading partner. So obviously our trade and our business, already, you know, the Trump episode has already created trouble for our trade. Now again Nepal crisis will again create problems for the traders and business people in India. Investment as well as investors in India, they'll all be creating problems. Connectivity and people to people ties. Now, you know, 700 tourists are stranded in Nepal, because Nepal is a Hindu dominated country, right? Religiously Hindu dominated country, and there was a lot of places, religious places of Hinduism in Nepal, which provides a huge boost of tourism. Apart from the beauty and scenic, Mount Everest is there, religious tourism, not only for Hinduism but also for the Buddhism, birthplace of Buddha, you know, Lumbini, and there is a Hindu temple, Pashupatinath, Muktinath temple. So these religious places, the Indian tourists, they have been good numbers who go to visit these religious places in Nepal. So tourism sectors will be impacted, and already the safety of Indian tourist, as of now, what is the major problem? The safety of India's tourists who are already trapped in Nepal. So for that, the government of India, they should come up with the proper policy. They should be provided with proper safety passage, consular aid, which already the Ministry of External Affairs, they are doing, right? And apart from the tourism, there is another issue here, that around 6 million Nepalis, they work in India. Already 6 million Nepalis, they work in India. So this is a really good, you know, people to people contact that makes India Nepal relations really very robust. Now what are the issues? So this one will connect with the security aspect. There could be a problem of more migration. There could be a problem of more migration, isn't it? Because if there is a disruption in Nepal, chaos in Nepal, it will impact the immediate neighbor, and that is India, and also because we have an open porous border. So more number of people, they will come as a refugee also. Whenever the troubles happen, people move out of their country, right? So which state will get more impacted? There are more security aspect in relations to our neighboring states like Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Sikkim. They will be the one who will be at the receiving hand, right? So the security aspect and migration issues, then job, loss of job to the locals, because these Nepali people, they will come to India and they will definitely be in the dire need of jobs. So more pressure on the job markets. They will work with a very less remuneration because they will be in the dire need of the job. So it will create a problem for whom? For the locals, isn't it? So these are the aspects of problem. Geopolitical balance, obviously, India has to walk a very, very tight diplomatic rope. We don't want that Nepal, Nepal should move more towards China. China is already making inroads in Nepal through the Belt and Road Initiative, building a lot of infrastructure, and a lot of economic activities from Nepal, from China is already happening in Nepal. And this kind of instability and chaos provides more opportunities as well as challenges. There is an opportunities as well as challenges. Now we have to see that how Nepal is moving towards which side. Though the strategy of Nepal is to maintain a balance. They want China's also help, at the same time India's help also, because they don't want to be dependent on only one country. Earlier they were dependent only on India, right? And we have a treaty of friendship. In the 1950 only we have a treaty of peace and friendship with Nepal. But Nepal, they feel that this treaty is more in favor of India than in favor of Nepal. So they want to bring changes in this treaty, number one. And for India's perspective, we have to balance our relations. We want a stable and peaceful Nepal, because it is in our own interest, isn't it? Otherwise there is lot of issues which we already discussed: security concern, economic concern, connectivity, people, everything will get disrupted. So it is in our interest that Nepal should remain stable and peaceful, right? And they should remain in our fold rather than moving away from us or getting more closer to China. So that is what we have to balance. We should not be seen being supportive to either side, neither towards protester side nor towards government side. That is what we have to go with, a very fine balance. Because in Bangladesh already you have seen, like earlier when Sheikh Hasina government was there was quite stability from the Bangladesh front. We had a very good relation with Bangladesh. But now there is an interim government which is not so friendly towards India, which is moving more towards China. So it is a matter of deep concern for us, whatever is happening in Nepal. If they also move more closer to China, definitely it is against India's interest, right? So what are the key takeaway from this entire issue? What should be the short term? What should be the short term? midterm goal and long term goal. What should be the short term goal? Short term goal, obviously diplomatic. It is, we have to see that very sensitive diplomacy is being maintained between India and Nepal, and we see that Nepal remains in India's fold or come more closer to India rather than moving away from India, right? And apart from that, we have to also see the trade disruptions. Trade disruptions, whatever has happened or whatever the losses is being occurred to because of the trade disruptions in India to our businessmen, the government should support them, right? Security aspect, immediate security aspect, we have to brief up our security so that our borders remain safe, right? So these are the short term goals. What are the medium term goals? Medium term goals, that we have to see that India is supportive. India is supportive to Nepal without being seen interventionist. We should not be looked upon like interventionist, means unnecessary interfering in their politics. We can intervene, but very cautious intervention, and we should not look like a big brother, because Nepal has many a time accused that India has been behaving more like a big brother, right? So we should not be seen as behaving like a big brother. We should be very supportive to them. At the same time, we should not look like too much interventionist, right? Then what are the long term goal? Long term goal is the security and stability in Nepal. We had to see that there is security and stability in Nepal, because if there is security and stability in Nepal, then only it will be good for India as well. Otherwise, there can be serious security concerns for India as well, right? So these are the various takeaway from the issue. I hope you got some clarity in India-Nepal relation, how you have to deal with, that deals with our international relation GS paper 2, right? So let's revisit it very quickly. Yes, so we have seen just very quickly India-Nepal relations, the causes and the reason we have seen. Genus uprising, we know why it happened, because of the ban of social media. Immediate reason was that, and there has been a fallout, security fallout. There has been clashes between the people and the security person, which led to the loss of life and property, right? Institutional collapse, resignation of the Prime Minister of Nepal as well as the Home Minister. Currently, army is taking over Nepal. What security implications for India? The various aspects we have seen, because in Nepal is very much linked, very intimately linked with India. From the map you can see. So these are the various aspects or concerns: political aspects, security aspects, people to people ties, diplomatic aspects, and China factor, of course. All these things has to be dealt in a proper manner. So we wish that normalcy comes to Nepal more earlier, more sooner than later, and it is in India's interest that a fast normalcy come to Nepal, right? So with this, we'll end the session. I hope this session you found it useful for analyzing India-Nepal relation. All the best.